Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Sideline Eye podcast. We're here for our club review show, and we're looking back at all the games last Friday evening. As always, this podcast is brought to you in association with McKeever's Teamwear, proud suppliers of all Armagh GA merchandise. I'm delighted to be joined once again by Tommy Coleman, and we're going to look back at a lot of games that were played on Friday evening. They were all played on Friday, so we're a couple of days away, Tommy, but we've reflected had a couple of days to reflect on the game, and as usual we'll start at Division 1A. It's Cleavey. They were taking on Drummondhee, the league leaders, taking on the league winners from last year, and Cleavey remain on top of the league. Now, they didn't have this all their own way. This was live on Armagh TV, so we got to see a bit of it. They didn't have it all their own way, but Cleavey got the goal in the first half. Now McGuinness got the goal, and that was obviously the difference in the end, and another good win for Cleavey.
Yeah, definitely. Cleavy's, especially at that Derby game again, and we always thought this was going to be a tight one, but every weekend, and it ended up it was one of the tighter matches over the weekend because most of the results were pretty much one-sided. But this game was, as you say, was tip and top, and the goal was probably the difference. But Cleavey, as I say, Cleavy's one of the top sides, and great admiration for them. I think that they're one of the teams, when we come around to it and talking about championship, they're going to be on a lot of people's, to the forefront of a lot of people's minds. They're going along nicely. There's still their players to come back in too. And as I said, that young McGuinness, he gets the goal again, and he's starting to score regular for them, and they're building up confidence. And when you're getting a 4-point win over your nearest and dearest, that's a good day out, so they'll be more than happy, and they're sitting there just top of the league and coasting along nicely.
And just something of note, I'm sure anybody that's read the match report would have noted as well. I won't talk about Cleavy's midfield. I think Cahill Boylan is fairly well known now throughout the county. He's been a county minor, a county under 20. He's obviously a midfielder for Cleavey and has performed well in the championship the last couple of years. Callum O'Hare, the other midfielder, probably not as well known. I think his last year or his first year was actually last year, and the first time he played senior football. The two of them got 2 points each on Friday evening, and just worth noting, if you're getting 4 points every game from your midfield, Tommy, you'd be happy enough.
Yeah, definitely. When I played midfield, you wouldn't get 4 points a season out of it. Them boys, no, they're all right, and it's also what's saying to you too, that obviously that they're going on the attack. A lot of days midfielders, the sort of the 50, the opposition's 50 as far as they're allowed to go. But with Cleavey now, they're playing more on the front foot, and it's great to watch. And with the two lads scoring, just shows you that how much penetration that there is, and how much off the ball and on the third man run that they're going on through, and they're taking them opportunities, and they're pushing on. And with that their sort of mindset, it only augurs well for them for the rest of the season.
And then the other 1A game, Tommy, was Clonard and Madden. Would previewed this one with Eamon McGill, and we were saying the first day out, obviously Clonard had a huge win over Madden, 13-7, I think, off the top of my head. This was obviously different. Clonard, we've spoke the last couple of weeks about how many men they have missing, and they've added to that, I think, from the last time I was talking to you. But the big difference here was the two goals, obviously, just after half-time. Joe Sheridan and Aaron McKenna both hit the net, and that was really game over, and Madden had another 2 points tucked away.
Yes, it's probably, from that there, from the first day out, fortunes have really went the other way. Madden have went in the belt and have been on that there run. Okay, they lost last week, but Clonard's been, we've been up and down, and it's been a horrific season, with injuries. It just seems to be one after the other. Just can't get settled down into it. And thank God we don't have a game this week. It gives a chance, another week, and hopefully we will get 2 or 3 players back to maybe get back into winning ways. Because obviously, we're up there. It's our first year up there, and we don't want to be going back down again. And we do want to be staying there, but fair play to Madden. Madden had a few players missing as well. We can't just ignore that fact either. They didn't come up with a full deck, but they played really well. They played with a breeze in the first half. It was up at St. Paul's, and they took some brilliant scores. From the 50, Conor Grimley and McKenna as well. Again, good long shots. You know, they were 45 metres out. I felt that we stood off them a wee bit. There's probably just from the inexperience that we have. You know, we give them that yard and a half so they could have the shot. You know, probably thinking that they weren't going to be doing anything. But you know, Madden of all, they're on their day and they can shoot like that. They're great, and they were able to build up a lead of 8-2 going into half time. Second half, actually, Clonard probably started the battle the first 5 minutes. Took a couple of lovely scores, and you know we're back in the race here. There's only 4 in it, and then Madden, the one to kick out, good long ball in, went right over the top of the defence, and Sheridan got the first one. That put them back and put them on head of steam. I think we got a point, and then they went back up again. Conor Gurman put a brilliant ball in, and Oran Kenna got her and took the ball well, and that was game. Realistically, it was game over. We kept at it. We picked off a few points, but you know, Conor Grimley just dropped out. He dropped into the middle third of the field, and he picked up all the ball. He demanded the ball. He controlled the game. His vision, and he gave some great ball into the Madden forward line, and he became the go-to man. And it's maybe something, you know, that Conor's probably maybe going to have to do now. You know, come later on in the season. With the bad news of Niall Grimley, and with a fortunate injury picked up in training with Armagh, a pretty serious one. And unfortunately for him personally, it's a major blow, but also for, you know, both for this club and for the county, it's going to be a tremendous loss. And Madden in particular, where now would have been the go-to man, you know, and winning the ball and dictating the play. Somebody else is going to have to step up into that there. And Conor Grimley sort of showed the other night, not only is he a great attacking the scores, he took some magnificent scores from 50 yards out, and even one of them against the win was absolutely terrific. He also was a great playmaker, and it may be a role that he's going to have to endear himself to a bit more now with that sad news about now.
Yeah, we send all our best to Niall Grimley. Obviously, just an unfortunate knock to pick up in training, and obviously there's never no good time to get injured, but just with the big game coming up at the weekend, it's unfortunate for him that he's going to miss it, and probably going to miss a good chunk of the rest of the year. And as you say, it's going to be crucial for Madden trying to replace such a great player as Niall is. Just on yourselves, Tommy, is relegation a genuine fear now? Because you have played whatever, maybe 7 or 8 games at this stage. The injuries are just piling up. As you say, hopefully you can get a few men back now with the week's break. But is it a genuine fear now? Graham Moore probably winning against Madden, as we said a couple of weeks ago, just tightened the whole thing up. So where's your thoughts on Clonard's chances of survival?
Yeah, well, it's going to be tight now. You know, we're at the wrong end, but you know, the pressure's going to be on us. Yeah, the 2 results last week, Drummond beating ourselves, and Graham Moore getting that win against Madden, as I said, closed the gap significantly. You know, looking at that league table, you're going to need at least 12 points to survive, quite possibly a bit more. So, you know, we've only 6 games left. And you know, you're going to have to win at least 3 of them, and that's probably with Graham Moore and Drummond included in that there. And we would have to be going to Drummond at some stage. So yeah, it certainly is. You know, there's other matches along the way there, but if we can get the lads back, you know, and you know that day, the first day again, Madden, you know, we had none of the county players, but everybody else, you know, so without the exceptions of Shea. So I have everybody back, you know, with fancy to pick up points. But it's a question of when we get them back and how soon. And but it is, you know, and we wouldn't want to be going down, you know, after such a hard fight, and you know, it took us a few years to get back out of 1B to get up into 1A, and you know, really you want to stay there, because that's you know, for all intents and purposes, 1B is a great league, but you want to be in 1A, you want to be in the top, and you want to be learning your trade there, you know.
And moving on to 1B then, Tommy, I suppose we'll start with Clans and Silverbridge. This was a big surprise. Not that Silverbridge won, but the margin of victory, 10 points in it at the end. And what made it more surprising was the fact that they were only 2 points up at half time. They had a goal in the first half. They were ahead. I think it was 4 to 5 points at half time. And obviously come out, got 2 more goals. Owen Reilly got 2 goals and Sean Conlon got a goal on the night. Surprised by the margin of victory, and Silverbridge remain top of the table.
Yeah, I would be surprised at the margin, but not surprised that they won. We know, as you know, we spoke about Silverbridge before, just how good a side that they are. And, you know, they have everybody, probably everybody there aboard Jolly Oak, and that, you know, makes a big difference. Clans, you know, Clans are a young side, and there's still, this level of football, there's still a lot of learning to do, you know, and probably a bit like, they're probably a wee bit more experience than what Carrick Crupton would have. But, you know, they're going to have good days and bad days. That's just the way it is. And when you're playing a season side like Silverbridge, you know, went the whole way to as I said before, they went the whole way to the semi-final of the championship last year. But just, you know, gives you an idea of the quality that they do have in the team. It was just getting that consistency last year throughout the league. And, you know, we had a new management team in there last year, you know, and they were picking it up. Now they've got embedded to what they want to do. So Silverbridge, as you know, they'll be up at the thing. I think they're going to be one of the ones competing for their second spot now. You know, it'll take a very, and when you go to Silverbridge, it takes a really good team to go and win there. News did manage to do it, but you know, it wasn't all one-way traffic either.
And thus, we'll move on to Ballymacnabb. Then they beat Carrick Crupton on Friday evening. And again, an expected result. I don't think it's unfair to say that. Carrick Crupton, just they're only up, Tommy, as we've talked about, the skipped Division 2A straight up to 1B after winning the Intermediate Championship. And just their team the other night played some really good football at stages. It was really tight. You know, the first 20 minutes, the first half an hour, they played really good football. But it's just the amount of men they're missing at the minute. And for a team to come up and, you know, the quality they're missing, obviously Blaine Hughes and Owen Woods are with the county. They're missing Tiernan Kelly, Tiernan O'Hare, Adam Matthews, you know, really key players behind getting them over the line last year. And it's just unfortunate for them that they probably haven't got a full strength team out all year. And they're going to need to pick up points along the line, as we know. But it's just unfortunate for them that they've picked up so many injuries. Richard Keenan is another one, a key man in midfield, and he's also injured at the minute.
Yeah, take Kelly and Keenan for two great young players, you know, and it's you know, they need all them lads really, you know, just to blend all that in. There's, you know, they'll find it, as I said, they're sort of, it's a learning process for them, and it's just how quick they can learn and get consistency into the game. With young, I keep repeating this and on it, but with young players, there is an inconsistency from week to week because they just, you know, it's a different environment that they're going into, you know, and if they can build up, maybe if they can get a good run at home and build up and see what they can pick up away, they might just get through this. But it'll be a tough ask for them. But if they get them all players back, you know, a lot of it is with injuries. But this year in particular, I know through all the leagues and all the teams, I've been talking to a few boys, and everybody seems to be ravaged with injuries, whatever it is, you know. And we just have to, you know, teams just have to rally through it. It's all about the squad now, and if, you know, as I say, if they can get that and get their home form sorted out, they may be able to pick up points. They're down at the wrong end of the table there at the moment, but you know, there has been a marked, watching the results, there has been a marked improvement in performances level. So you never know. It just keeps it's on this here league. You've all extra games in this. You know, you have 16 games compared to 14 and some of the leagues and 12 in other leagues. So them extra few games maybe just give you out their consistency and give you a wee bit more to work on, you know, and you might be glad of them a couple of games come the end of the year.
And just the other game then in Division 1B before we move on to the Intermediate League was Mullabone beat St Patrick's. That was 15-7 also on Friday evening as well.
That was a bit of a surprise margin as well. You know, that their derby, I was expecting that to be a wee bit tighter and could have went either way, to be honest, you know. but it's a comfortable enough looking win for Mullabon, and I'm sure St. Pat's that when you look at their scores and their scoring margins, they're certainly missing. They're missing the boys that go up front. The boys do the scoring for them, and they'll be when they get them lads back, we could probably see a good change in their form, and results could be turning the other way. And if you're going out and you're meeting a forward line with Duffy, Nugent, and McQuillan in it, it'll make an awful lot of difference.
And down to the intermediate division, then just one Division 2A game on Friday evening. It was St. Paul's against Wolf Tones. Probably surprised by the margin of victory here. Tommy, now we've spoke probably enough about you in Colville and St. Paul's and how he's getting the best out of them of late. But as I say, surprising by the margin of victory here.
Oh yes, very, very, very much so. Lurgan derbies are usually very, very, very tight, and you don't only expect a point or 2 points in them. This game, fair play to St. Paul's. By all accounts, it was a real good, it was a good 7-point win. Young Callum Duffin from Tones apparently made a couple of great saves, and he actually saved the penalty kick as well near the end. So there could have been a bigger defeat here for the Tones, only for them. Niall McPartland and Niall McCoy, Peter Nash were supposed to be in superb form. And were the driving force, even though St. Paul's are missing a few players there as well. Through injury, the lack of Kieran Nash, he's not available at the moment either, and John Lawless, young Ryan Loss, sorry. They're both injured, 2 experienced players that they have, but they're going along nicely there, and they push themselves right up into contention of promotion there. But I suppose the blood on the horizon there was a horrific injury to young Rory Grimes, great lad, lovely lad. Was our strength and conditioning coach in Clonerne there for the last 2 years with me when he was there, and he's actually there previously before he come. He had great rapport with everybody in Clonerne. We're real sorry to hear about that. And probably not know the full extent of the injury until he gets the MRI scan, but the early prognosis doesn't look too good for the lad, and he looks like to have a long, hard road in front of him. Although, and like he's a PT instructor, we have to think of these lads when you get into too. They've day jobs to go and to do as well, and he's picked this up, but he will be very fit, he'll be very strong, and and mentally he will have a great attitude too. So hopefully, with all the amount of good that he has, he'll be able to get up and get at it. And certainly everybody around St. Paul's and the wider area, around the Lurgan area anyway, he's well thought of, and we'll all rally behind him and hopefully give him all the support that he needs. And hopefully he gets back going again, sometime next year. And he's heavily involved, he's heavily involved with Armagh Ladies with their strength and conditioning programme, and he's also with Clonerne Ladies there too. So he's a wonderful fellow, he's a great lad, and just hopefully he makes a full and speedy recovery.
With best wishes to Rory, and hopefully, as you say, Tommy, he'll be back in no time. That's obviously, I think it was a bad enough injury that he's out for the remainder of the year. So best wishes to him on a speedy recovery. Hopefully he'll be back bigger and stronger next year again. Down to 2B then, Tommy. There's a couple of games we can touch on here. I just want to start with College Land beating Crossmaglen. College Land probably just have gone in under the radar due to the fact of how well Colville and Balik have started. College Land, they've won 3 of their 5 games. They won the junior championship a couple of years ago, and they've a lot of young talented footballers, the likes of Ciara McGeary. I'm thinking Shane Donnelly as well. There's a couple, Jason Kelly up front, Mark McCoy, and ex-Harps players come in and a wee bit of experience in the full back line for them. So they've probably gone in under the radar, but this was a good victory for them.
Oh, it's a great victory for them. And you're right, they have sort of slipped them. Nobody's really mentioned them, And I think they've only played 5 games, so they're a few behind. Probably that's the reason why we haven't taken note of it. But we're standing up there. You're looking at them beating Cross. Cross has been at the top end of that table and going extremely well. And they push out. It was a 1-point win, but it was a damn good win. You know, when you're going there, Cross is not easy beating, and yeah, they have gone under the radar a bit, and when they get themselves going, and I suppose they wouldn't have a massive squad in College Land, and I suppose like everybody else, if depending on who they have, you know, not injured, and if they can keep a clean bill of health, they'll certainly work their way up the table, and they'll be at the right end again. You know, as you said, the junior champions are a couple of years back and had a really big crack at the Ulster as well. So they're no mugs like them. They're good, solid, hard lads. And as I said, sometimes to keep it, it's a struggle to keep it going because they wouldn't have the biggest squad in the world. But if they can keep everybody fit, you could see them. They're capable of big results in that division.
We're going to do a bit of a previewing here, Tommy, because obviously on Thursday's show we're going to be previewing the Armagh Tyrone game, so we'll give the club a miss this weekend. But the big one is coming up on Thursday night is going to be Colville and Blake. Obviously the two of them coming off back of another big wins on Friday evening. Blake defeated Clonmore 5-8, 14 points. Colville went to Forkhill and beat them 3-10-12. This is a top of the table clash. Both teams are unbeaten. Only Blake have dropped a point. They drew with Crossmaglen last weekend. So this is going to be a huge game. Probably both of them would be fairly confident of promotion by the end of the year, but who's going to be top is going to be the big question. And this is going to be a huge game for both teams.
Yeah, it is. This will be the big test for Blake. You know, they've come up, they have done admirably well. There's no question about it. They've played themselves superbly, you know, coming out of that grade, coming up as junior champions. They're going in, they're playing an unbeaten Colville side, who are putting up big scores for another 3-10 this week. And, you know, I was just counting through their report there, 8 different scores on the team. So they're obviously playing a lot on the front foot too, and they're going at it. So it's a big match. It'll be great, you know, it's one maybe you could, hopefully maybe able to get down to the sea, because it's as you said, it's intriguing. Let's just see what way that there one pans out. How Blake, you know, I think Blake will hold their own again, and the way they're putting up the scores. Well, Colville just have that wee bit too much for them with the experience and the run that they had, and the confidence building run that they've been on too has been great. And we spoke highly about them the whole time. And as I've said myself before, and you know, for me, it's Colville coming out of there. Who's going to come with them? And so this will be a massive match on Thursday night. Now the two of them's coming off after having 2 good wins again, and they're sitting there with 1 point. Blake's 1 point behind them here, so it's a good chance for Colville to open the gap, or Blake just to nudge ahead of them. So it's a big one, all right.
And we've seen the scores they've been putting up, Tommy, and there's plenty of goals every week from them. So we could see a shootout. This could be not only a really important game, but a really entertaining game between two of the top teams, obviously, in Division 2B.
Yeah, that's it. You know, just we hope they go out and we play the same football that we've been playing every week, you know, and they don't retreat back and get into defensive style of football. And maybe that just doesn't suit them teams, you know, they just want to go and want to play in the front foot. Like, as you said, Blake's had 5 goals here this week, and Colville had 3. You know, and they've been knocking in goals every week. So yeah, it's got all the ingredients are there for a great game. So hopefully that there's produced there on Thursday night.
We'll be keeping our eye on that one. Really one to definitely get excited about. And just the remaining game then, Tiernogue defeated Ballyhagan 0-12 to 0-5. That was the other Division 2B game then last Friday evening. So Tommy, Division 3, there was only 3 games here last week. We could start with Derrynoose, who are probably expecting till they're unbeaten at the minute, and we're expecting them to continue that way for the next couple of weeks. But I want to start with Middletown. We have spoke about them, but probably most of our chat has been based on our Ogan Derrynoose. But Middletown's really keeping the pressure on Derrynoose. They're up there, they're second place. Big Collie put up the other night 3-15 to 0-6 against Portmore. They're motoring along nicely at this stage.
Yeah, many times we spoke about this before. When Middletown get everybody out, they're a formidable side. So they are, you know, they're not to me they're not a junior team. If they have everybody out there, they're a good intermediate team. So it depends just where Armagh Hurlers is and who they have available to them. But certainly they're keeping it up. As you say, they're sitting there in third place there. They're just, they're 2 points behind Derrynoose, and they're keeping it going. They keep paddling on, they keep pushing on. They're just the sort of leapfrog their road there by a point. So if they have their hurlers, and when they're going to be playing their big games, they're certainly going to be a force to be reckoned with. And you wouldn't back against Middletown in any of these matches.
And Derrynoose, obviously the big winners there, 118 to 2-6 winners over Thomas Davis. But it's worth noting Thomas Davis, obviously, their manager actually stepped down before this game, a couple of days before this game. So they went into this player-led, with no manager, and by all accounts, put up a really good showing.
Well, indeed, they scored 2-6. I didn't realise that there, and they're a great bunch of lads down there. Derrynoose, again, high scoring, free scoring, 118, but for play Thomas Davis, again, maybe it's a wee bit of, look, we need to get our act here, need to push on and maybe put that extra wee bit in and put in a big performance there. And, scored 2-6 again, the league leader, so he's been putting up massive scores all along. There's other teams are here up the higher end of the table haven't scored that very much again. I think if I'm right, they're going to score 2 points against them the other week. So, Thomas Davis maybe takes some part from that there, and look at their strengths and maybe push on a bit and get a few more scores, maybe get a couple of wins under their belt. Yeah.
And just finally, then tell me, the other one was Darcy on Mullabrack, and I think this was, by all accounts, was a really even game, a really tight game. It was 9-9 leading into the last couple of minutes, and Darcy just stole it at the end, got 2 points. And obviously they earned the victory then. But an important 2 points here. We've spoke about Darcy a couple of weeks ago, that they had a really good, impressive start to the season. Sort of fell off a bit, while Mullabrack are just motoring along nicely. And both of them obviously fighting to get into the top half of the league. So an important 2 points for Darcy.
Yeah, it was important for Darcy to get into the top half. It was one that probably was sort of a must win for them. And they've given themselves out there a good chance. So they're just sitting on that borderline stuff. But there has to be a scoring potential within Darcy. We've seen that there are some of the scores that they put up. I think the first week we couldn't believe the score that they put was 4 or something. There was a massive score.
320, I think, Tommy, from memory.
It was a real massive score, and I don't know what's happened, but hopefully if they can find their form of shooting again and get in, because that's where you want to be. You want to be sitting up the top half of it. But obviously, them games, and the stronger competition prepares you better for the championship at the end of the year. So I suppose that will be their aim. There's no reason why they can't go on to do that.
So there's more club action coming up this weekend. Obviously, due with the Armagh game, they're all going to be played on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and perhaps some the following week as well. But we'll keep you all up to date with that. We'll not be covering any club games with the preview. We'll be previewing the Armagh and Tyrone game with a special guest coming up on Thursday. So keep an eye out on that. But of course, we'll be covering all the club action as usual with match reports and previews, and hopefully a few interviews this weekend as well. So Tommy, thanks very much for coming on. It was great to hear your thoughts on all the games, and hopefully the next time I'm talking to you, Armagh will be preparing for Armagh in the next round of the qualifiers.
Yep, Armagh away to Limerick. Do all right.
You take it, wouldn't you? Good one. Thank you, Tommy. Good stuff.
Well, see you later.
Cheers.
Bye. Bye.